In this video, I want to talk about why religion is important to mankind. When I look at society, you see how our nation kicked God out this country. You see how our nation rejected culture. Now, culture is a combination of identity and religion, because the identity is who you are, as in the seed line you comes from. You know, like the bloodline of Shem, Ham, or Japheth. The bloodlines of Israel. And the traditions of the culture comes from your religion. When you look at the Jewish culture, when you look at various cultures around the world, their traditions comes from their religion. And so culture consists of identity and religion. When the reason why religion is important is because when you don't have religion, then man could just make up what the purpose is. Everybody's morals would be mismatched. You wouldn't know what your neighbor believes in. Would you create an atmosphere of distrust? I'm not sure if I uploaded this video or not to YouTube, but I once talked about the importance of having a community where everybody believes in the same thing. And the importance of that is that you never know what you'll, like, looking at America, how everybody believes anything in regards to, like, could be any religion, could be could or could not believe in a God. When you send your kid over to somebody's house, you don't even know what your neighbor believes in. You could be a born-again Christian and send your kid over to your neighbor's house who are the kind of Satanist who would sacrifice a child or do a lot of sexual rituals. Like, you would never know. And when you have an environment like that, nobody trusts each other, because you don't even know what the next person is capable of, or what they believe, or their moral or their moral line. Now, another reason why religion, when you look at, like, let's say, like, there's two societies. One society is like atheists, and they're becoming more technologically advanced. And let's look at creationists becoming more technologically advanced. Now, when you have an atheistic society, or a society with, like, mismatched morals, becoming more technologically advanced, then they just use that technology to manifest the desires of their heart. Now, when you are living in a society that doesn't have a moral standard, then you could get humans to stoop to the lowest of the low. Which means that if we have the technology, then we would manifest the darkest desires of our heart. And from there, like, it'll become even darker and darker. You know what I mean? And so corruption, like, what it would eventually lead to, without something like religion and God, is that society will collapse. It will destroy itself, because corruption corrupts absolutely. And when corruption corrupts absolutely, it destroys itself, which means that it'll wipe itself out if no outside person see how weak they gotten and come in and destroy them before they can destroy themselves. But with creation, with creationists, with the belief of a God, you see certain things as being sacred. When it comes to, let's just say, a Wiccan, when you look at a Wiccan would not want to chop down these trees that's out here in order to build a brand new building, because according to a Wiccan, a kind of Wiccan who worships the earth, they would say, no, I won't destroy earth, because these plants exist for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, these plants are a part of nature, and they are a part of who we are. You know what I mean? They are an extension of us. Or, like, when you look at, like, somebody from an Abrahamic faith, they say, no, I won't cross this line or do this, because God made things this way. And because God made things this way for this reason, we won't use this thing outside of that reason. Like, when you have religion, you have a moral line that you wouldn't cross, whether if it be from, or if I am like an American Wiccan, or a Christian, or a Jewish person, or a Muslim. Like, these various religions have certain moral lines that they wouldn't cross that actually protect humans and the earth in the long run. Whereas when you don't have such things that you would consider sacred, because either this is a part of nature or because God created these things this way, and don't do this, otherwise it will displease God, then you would destroy anything. You would create something like a robotic tree and think that it could do a better job than nature. You would create underwater filters thinking that they could do a better job than the clams. When in actuality, man, like, a human who doesn't have such like belief systems, you can talk them into being a worse version of themselves in regards to considering less things to be sacred. Because there is no line. There is no line when you don't have a religion. When it comes to like not having a religion, like, you will become darker and darker and darker, and there is no limit. And a lot of the times, this is what happened to these kind of people who are in power now. They do things that are unimaginably evil, but there are those of them who didn't start out that way. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them who've grown corrupt over the course of time, because they didn't have that consistent moral line that they wouldn't cross due to religion. Of course, there are evil people in power who like to use religion to control others, but that doesn't make the religion in itself a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that when you throw religion out, when you throw God out, then people just start going crazy. You see people like killing people everywhere. You see people acting in accordance with their mind all the time, not in accordance with the will of something that they consider sacred. You don't see them acting in the will of their God. You always see a bunch of chaos. Now, looking at all the things that's going on today in America, all these people killing each other and all this stuff, crime rates is going back up again. It makes you wonder, like, when you seen the religious people in the ancient times stoning people, were they wrong? You know what I mean? Or did they foresee that society will have a major moral collapse that'll cause a lot of chaos? And they wanted to maintain a better world for their kids. And so the people who do certain wrongs, they had an extreme punishment for them. And America haven't really been checking these people. America haven't really been checking these people. And the result of that is that things are just getting worse. People are becoming depressed. People are starting to afflict each other. And when you look at the societies where they have like a very strong religious presence, you don't see any of this because they don't allow it to get out of control. Well, that's all I have to say. These 10 minutes is almost up. The reason why I'm not posting past tense because I'm posting on TikTok.